Hey friends, how you guys doing? You ready for story time? I certainly am. This is from Reddit user Azrael Sunhawk. My realization that I dealt with a JNMIL and JNFIL even though I wasn't married to their son. Okay, I get mother-in-law and father-in-law, but what is a JN? I don't really know. So, let's find out. It never occurred to me because I wasn't married to my son's father, male bio unit, but this was more or less an entitled grandparent kind of interaction. My son's father's mother and father in question, henceforth Mama and Pawpaw. So my son was my first live birth. I had miscarried 5 times before I had him. Oh, I'm so sorry. It is what it is. Still, I'm really sorry. I was very sick from the pregnancy and delivery, and I'd been hospitalized during the pregnancy for toxemia and was on bed rest for the rest of the time, and my son was a week overdue, so they induced labor. I had my baby, and a few days after his birth, I brought him to meet his grandparents. After a few minutes, the grandmother tells a little 11-year-old neighbor girl that she can take my son to meet her mom. At which point I said, no, I'll go with them, but he's not leaving my sight. The thing is, they lived in a shitty, unsafe neighborhood. You're not taking my kid out of Madame's sight. So me, a few days out of the hospital, walk half a block with this girl. Her mother meets my son, and then we walk back, and I start feeling sick, and my son's father takes us home. Mind you, he lived with his parents and I lived with mine. We'd been trying to save up for a house. That was the first and last time he stood up to his parents, and oh, I know what word you were trying to say, but you censored it. Allow me to say it for you. Of a sister. For me and my son. See, that's the beautiful thing about my channel. I can say the bad words because I don't care. My son is out of the air-conditioned hospital and into a central air home for 3 weeks. My boy is born in May. It is now June. So, my son's father calls me and asks if the baby and I want to go to SeaWorld in Ohio with his family. So let me see if I get this straight. You want to take my child, who has never been out of an air-conditioned place, to a place with 90% humidity in fucking June. So of course I said, no, you can take him another time, and I explained everything I just explained. The grandparents then got on the phone with me and tried to wheedle me, read intimidate, to go with my son. My words were along the lines of, I wish that you would understand and actually listen to me on this matter. So they go without me and the baby. The real reason they wanted myself and my son to go, they had temporary custody of some of the nieces and nephews, 3 kids under the age of 6, and they figured I'd have to sit with the baby, so voila, built-in babysitter. Wow. In the end, they brought my son a small stuffed animal, a SeaWorld themed towel, and my son never received a thing from them ever again. Ever. No phone calls, birthday cards, no gifts, Christmas cards, nothing. So, I said, fuck him. My family loves my boy to bits. If he needs anything and I can't get it, they'll help out. I know this. When my son's father couldn't get custody of my son from me, get me declared an unfit parent, he walked. He had court-ordered visitation, but after that, he never took him, visited, or ever called again. There's more crap that my son's male bio unit, aka father, and his wife did to myself and my son. But the grandparents, well, you reap what you sow. And that would be not knowing a wonderful, wonderful child with a heart the size of the sun and loyalty to match. My son is now an adult and occasionally sees his father. As far as my son's concerned, he doesn't really have a dad. He has a mother who loved him before he was born and will love him forevermore. P.S. Wanted to add thank you to Moonhorse and the Celestial Herd. Well, you're very welcome. For making a place for folks like me to feel safe enough to say these things. I've never told anyone the above except my mom and my son, when he was older, obviously. And my mom, because she was there when it all went down. My son still has the items they bought for him on that day, and I kept them for him till he was older. Thanks to all of y'all. Well, it's me, so I'll say all the bad things for you. First off, this guy sounds like a fucking asshole. This father figure, and I use that term very loosely, and especially the way his family treated you. Okay. So when I was much, much younger, obviously, I have a younger sister, and when she was born, she was several months premature. And my mom had really bad, high blood pressure and a lot of things, which resulted in her being born premature. And so I kind of have this understanding of what that's like. My sister was in, ICU for the longest time. And the idea of either of them going to, a fucking amusement park after going through something that horrific is honestly the most insane thing I've ever heard. So, while I don't know exactly what you went through, I kind of feel that, though. You were literally in the fucking hospital. And then all of a sudden, it's just oh yeah, just go walk over it. Let's just take the baby, who obviously has health problems too, just wander on down the road and meet some random people. And it's I can't really fathom that mentality. It's so my nephew's about a year old, but when he was first born, if anyone wanted to see him, they would have to come to see him because he's a newborn. And there's this whole thing about how, Earth is a place we live, but it's not what one would call hospitable to, people with compromised immune systems. He's not sick, but he is a newborn, and their immune system is still doing that whole thing of developing completely. So, that's a thing. We're still working on that. And yeah, we've had crazy people like that. I mean, I know that level of insanity. I'll leave out certain names and stuff, but let's just say that I know what that's like. And it's do you not understand what, even the only benefit of the doubt I could give you is this has me so incredulous that I'm losing words. The only benefit of the doubt I could give you is if it was 50 years ago, when you didn't have internet, or not everybody had it, and you have to look this kind of stuff up in a medical textbook, but you are literally holding a phone with a fucking Library of Alexandria-like wealth of information at your fucking fingertips. You could take 10 seconds to Google if that thing would be a good idea. Is it a good idea to take an infant to a water park, less than 2 months after they're born? And Google would be fuck no. And there's your answer. But then to find out that it was really just because they were hey, you'll just be the babysitter. You have a baby, we have other kids, so you'll just take care of all that for us. But to not even bother informing you, that right there is a total fuck you moment. That's like an absolute fuck you moment. And it's not just because I'm an individual who doesn't want kids, but it's also like a thing of like, if you're just gonna throw your children at somebody and be like, yeah, take care of them, I'm gonna go get on this ride, and it's like, no. No, I'm not the one who decided to have crotch goblins, okay? That was you, and this is your responsibility. And now you get to act like the adult here, alright? If you didn't want to deal with this, why did you do it? Why did you go through these things? You know? Extenuating circumstances for a lot of things. Obviously, we're not talking about that. We're talking about people who legitimately have kids and wanted them, and then all of a sudden they're just like, oh, family, take care of everything. I can't be bothered. Have to go do this. I've known a few people like that, and they fill me with just disgust. It's one thing if you just need a vacation. It's a whole nother thing when your vacation lasts several years. So, with all that being said, thank you all for being here, and I hope you enjoyed this story. I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye! Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and a special thanks to my Moonfriendios Babbsy-kun and Stony Inc. If you would like to send in your own story, you can send it to r/Moonhorse Stories, or if you would like to donate to my Patreon, you can do that. Please do. There's also a merch store if you want to buy anything there, and, well, honestly, that's about it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I love you all. I'll see you in the next episode. Okay, goodbye now. Bye!